This is a chilling true story, the tragic path of a boy whose life turned into darkness at the age of just 12. His name was Ricardo. Ricardo grew up alongside his older brother, Mike, but Mike was deeply unstable. He often bragged about his violent mistreatment of women, describing them as if they were trophies of his conquests. Ricardo listened, absorbing every word. One day, after Mike got married, Ricardo visited his brother's house. What he witnessed would leave a permanent mark on his mind. Mike shot his wife right in front of him. For most children, this would have been a moment of horror. But for Ricardo, just as with all the stories he had heard before, it became something strangely captivating. That moment shaped the mind of a future killer and set Ricardo down a dark and irreversible road. As he grew older, Ricardo spiraled further. He became addicted to hallucinogenic drugs, involved himself in petty theft, and developed an obsessive fixation on religion. He eventually dropped out of high school, cutting off his chances of a normal future. At 17, Ricardo managed to get a job at a Holiday Inn, but he quickly revealed his true nature. Instead of working, he snuck into sleeping guests' rooms to steal. Soon, stealing wasn't enough. He escalated, crossing a terrifying line into sexual assault. When he was caught, he was fired 5 years later. At age 22, Ricardo moved from Texas to San Francisco, hoping to start over. But instead of changing, he fell deeper into drugs, neglected his hygiene, his teeth decayed, and his body reeked. It was during this desperate time that a terrifying thought crossed his mind: why not kill? That might be exciting. His first victim was a 9-year-old girl who had dropped a $1 bill. Ricardo lured her into the basement of his hotel and attacked her. Within 3 months, Ricardo relocated to Los Angeles, renting a room in Skid Row, a neighborhood drowning in poverty and crime. There, his nightmare spree truly began. His first target was a 79-year-old woman living in the suburbs. He broke into her home, attacked her, and took her life, stealing her jewelry before leaving. 9 months later, Ricardo hid inside a woman's garage, waiting. The moment she walked in, he ambushed her and shot her. When her roommate appeared, he shot her as well. Just an hour later, in a public park, he randomly dragged a woman from her car and killed her in cold blood. In the following days, Ricardo invaded yet another home. He shot a sleeping husband, then brutally murdered the wife with both gun and knife. What shocked investigators most was what came next. He removed the woman's eyes and placed them in a jewelry box, treating them as a trophy. From that point on, Ricardo launched into a spree of break-ins, assaults, and murders. At many crime scenes, he left behind disturbing religious symbols drawn in blood or chalk. The media exploded with headlines about the mysterious killer terrorizing California. He was soon given a nickname that would strike fear into the public: the Night Stalker, for investigators. The clues were few: a handful of fingerprints, vague witness descriptions, and most importantly, a shoe print. Ricardo wore a rare pair of sneakers, only one of its size sold in Los Angeles. This tiny detail became a critical lead. As public fear grew, San Francisco Mayor Dianne Feinstein made a controversial move. She revealed the shoe evidence and a composite sketch on live TV. Ricardo realized he was exposed. He quickly fled, throwing his shoes into the ocean in an attempt to erase the trail, but he made a fatal mistake, leaving fingerprints inside a stolen car. Thanks to advancing technology, police matched them to Ricardo's criminal record. A nationwide manhunt began. His photo was plastered on every street corner. Here's the shocking part: just 2 days after being declared America's Most Wanted, Ricardo casually walked into a grocery store in Los Angeles. People recognized him immediately. Panic erupted. Ricardo bolted, running through the streets, but he couldn't escape. A group of 10 civilians chased him down. Exhausted and desperate, he was struck in the head with a wooden fence post. The crowd swarmed him, beating him until police arrived. For many, it was a moment of grim satisfaction. The predator was finally in chains. At his trial, the sheer scale of his crimes stunned the nation. Ricardo was convicted of 13 murders, 5 attempted murders, 11 sexual assaults, 14 burglaries. The verdict cemented his place among history's most notorious killers, beyond the horror. This story carries a powerful lesson. A child's environment has the power to shape their entire future. Exposure to violence, instability, and trauma can turn innocence into darkness.